Hey guys, welcome back. Doing a little video today on why I chose the N&W to model. What is it about it that interests me, that type of thing. I'd had that question posed to me a few times through some emails and some people I know just generally wondering, and I'm sure my reasons aren't going to differ much from anybody else's for choosing the railroads they chose to model, but I thought I'd just give you mine. For me, it started back in the mid 80s, or actually a little bit before that, early on after the 611 had been restored. Some friends and I we'd heard about the 611 operating and pulling excursions and stuff. I think we saw something about it in a magazine at one of the local hobby shops or something to that effect, and decided we'd head on down there and see what it was all about. And up to that point, speaking for myself, obviously I'd heard of the, and was aware of the UP with the 844 operating, as well as the 4449 operating, especially after its, duties with the American Freedom Train, as well as the nickel plate, the 765 out of Fort Wayne. But prior to that, I hadn't really heard anything about, the Southern Steam program. I don't know why. Just wasn't really on my radar at the time. But we headed on down there, and over the years, throughout the 80s and then into the 90s, rode several excursions behind the 611 and the 1218, and also chased it many times. What I really came away with at that time, in the beginning, was just visually speaking, in terms of the 611. I mean, the sole surviving Class J. Just in terms of its looks, it really appealed to me. Semi-streamlined, I guess I would say. I wouldn't call it fully streamlined. It doesn't have any skirting or anything of that sort on it, which I personally prefer. I like seeing the running gear and everything. But, glossy black with the N&W Tuscan red, to me, a good color combination. I really liked it. But the locomotive itself is just an impressive machine in person. It's just really unique. Designed and built, obviously, by the N&W, for the N&W, to pull their passenger trains, be able to maintain 40 miles per hour, with their scheduled trains. And the biggest thing was they wanted an engine that could accelerate back up to track speed after a station stop, maintain that speed, and also had the ability to get out and run when it had the flat land and the ability to do it, which the Jays could do. The Jays were capable of over 100 miles per hour. And they definitely were able to start and accelerate their trains back up to track speed very quickly, and had no problems maintaining it with the N&W's passenger trains. So the N&W, they definitely got what they wanted. They got what they designed. And it's like anything, a little bit of trial and error through the early years with them and stuff of that nature. And then, and again, fortunately, the N&W, cranked out 3 more in 1950, with the 611, the 612, and the 613. And fortunately, we're lucky to have 611 still around. And then, of course, with the 1218, Class A, the sole surviving Class A. Again, what an impressive articulated locomotive that is. We could get into numbers in terms of tractive effort, horsepower, and that sort of thing, but that's all available. You can go Google all that stuff. But getting back to my interest, like I said, locomotives appealed to me, and then throughout the region, Virginia, West Virginia, even up into Ohio, around the Portsmouth area, I really just love the region. I love the area. I love the scenery, the mountains, that type of stuff. Everybody that I encountered along the way, very nice, friendly, just an overall enjoyable experience, and a beautiful portion of the country. So that's the other thing that really kind of drew me into it and caused me to start doing a lot of research, through the Norfolk and Western Railroad Historical Society, as well as some other publications, books that have been printed through the years. I got the book on the Class A's that was written by Edward King. Very informative, a lot of great information in that book. Several books on the Jays. A lot of stuff out there I've started getting into recently with the Y6s and the Y6Bs. So for me, it was the both. It was the the power the NW used, as well as the region it operated in. It just all kind of clicked with me. I liked it. It really appealed to me. Another thing here that it really got me, or I should say, solidified my interest with the NW was work done by O. Winston Link, who is a very, very talented photographer. And towards the end of Steam, decided he wanted to capture it. And in the late 50s, like 57, 58, 59, he went and spent a lot of time along the track side of the NW, as well as within the yards and so forth, taking many, many photographs. Google his name online, you'll see tons of images that come up. So I thought I'd show you a few of these. This one here you've been staring at now for the past 6 minutes. Wonderful photograph by O. Winston Link, obviously. Overhead, we've got a Class J passing by. I believe it's number 610. Down in the lower left here, let me get something a little bit better to point with. We've got a father with a young boy here. It looks like they just cut down the family Christmas tree. And off to the side here, we've got two more boys with their young dog right there next to them. Perhaps they're, brothers. Perhaps they're not related at all. I don't know. Maybe they are, and they all live in this house right here. Who knows? But a very interesting photograph. And again, the locomotive is not really the primary focus. It's not the sole thing that is front and center in the image. It's just one of the players in the image. From a modeling standpoint, this is a fantastic thing to model. We've got the wonderful cut stone for the archway here over the road. Obviously, the elevated trackway, the home off to the side. The grass, the roadway. A lot of stuff there to model. This is going to be one of the scenes that I'm going to try to recreate somewhere in my layout. Excuse me. I'm going to be actually utilizing several photographs from him and trying to recreate those scenes in various places on the layout. I'm just going to show you a handful today. I admire his work. I love the images he captured. And there's just so much to be learned through them. And I thought they'd be, like I said, just interesting and fun to recreate in the layout. Because it's not just about the objects. It's also, if you notice in the photos, it's just capturing a moment in life. Just a very quick snapshot of life, like so many photographs capture. But in this case, we're dealing with railroad life and people and families that grew up along the railroad. This next photograph I'm going to show you here is called the swimming pool. And I believe that, that swimming pool is in Welch. The photo, obviously here, depicts, I believe we've got a Class A in the background. I don't think it's a Y. On the head end of a freight. And again, we've got these three lovely bathing beauties up front. Young man sitting there all talking on a Friday, Saturday night maybe. Got three guys sitting back here on the bench, some buddies just hanging out talking. And again, the train is just one of the players in the photo. It's not the entire image, and that's one of the things I really enjoyed about his imagery. And again, this is something else that's going to be another scene I'm going to recreate in the layout. Not quite sure how I'm going to go about doing the pool yet, but I'm going to come up with something very creative for that. So, but again, wonderful scene, wonderful snapshot of life. Another photo I'm going to show you here is called the drive-in, and that is this image right here, obviously. Go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Okay, so what we have here, of course, we've got Class A in the background on the head end of a freight. Got the young couple here in the convertible enjoying the movie, and up on the movie screen we've got an F-86 Sabre. Who knows, maybe they're watching John Wayne's movie, Jet Pilot, which I think came out in '57. But an interesting photograph for many reasons. Number one, we've got three very different forms of technology there. The steam locomotive, the automobile, and the jet airplane captured in one shot. But again, snapshot of life. The young couple falling in love, enjoying some time together on the weekend maybe. From a modeling standpoint, again, very interesting. We've got the track slightly elevated. If you notice, this isn't paved at all. This is like in a field. Grass has been cut down. The lanes for the automobiles is just dirt. Again, just a very interesting scene, something that I think will lend itself very well for modeling purposes, and I think would be Ended up being a bit of an interesting scene on the layout. I wouldn't mind trying to, I don't know, use an old tablet or something, creating an actual active screen on the layout, maybe then showing some type of movie or something. I don't know yet. We'll have to see what I'm able to do here. But again, visually interesting. Steam engine is there, is present, but again, it's not front and center. It's just one of the parts of the image. And another one I have here that I'm going to show you lastly is got this young couple here getting gas. If I'm remembering correctly, this filling station was just outside of that movie theater. But again, we've got a K2 in the background passing by. We've got the kids in the convertible getting gas. We've got the older gentleman here operating the gravity feed pump. Again, very interesting scene to model. And again, just a snapshot of life, young kids out on a date, getting some gas, probably driving dad's car, taking the young lady out for an evening on the town. But like I said, snapshot of life and a very cool thing to model. So staying on that photograph, I'm just going to conclude the video by saying those are a lot of the reasons what I'm drawn to by the N&W. These photographs are going to kind of highlight some of the things I'm going to model on the layout. I've had people asking me that too. Am I modeling a specific area? Are you going to model Bluefield, or are you going to model Crew, or what about, Christiansburg? I'm going to model a little bit of everything. What I'm after is just to capture the overall look and feel of the Norfolk and Western during that time period, which again will be the 40s into the 50s, big steam, and that's what interests me. Every once in a great while, we might have modern diesel night where a couple, some modern road power might sneak in under the NS name, but overall, it's N&W 40s and 50s. Again, that's, like I said, what's interesting me, what drew me to it. So that being said, that's going to kind of conclude this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and there'll be another video coming shortly where I'll talk about some of the future videos. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching, guys.